Let's just have a conversation about Citi credit card limit increases. What to do step by step. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back folks to another edition of the Awesome Citi Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Citi credit card limit increases, what to do step by step. The first thing is you need to be eligible, okay? Credit card, credit card, credit card. We all love credit cards. We want to increase our Citi credit card limits. This is important, but you need to know the eligibility requirements. So like many issuers, Citi doesn't provide specific eligibility requirements, but there are some guidelines you can follow no matter who you are banking with, okay? So please pay your bills on time. If you have your Citi card right now, I want you to pay your bills, to try to pay your bills on time. Because if you are late on your credit card payments, Citi might see it as a sign of financial difficulty, right? You're not really showing financial responsibility. You always want to pay more than the minimum due, okay? So if you owe, let's say you owe $1,000 and Citi says you can only pay $20 or $30, you don't want to pay just the minimum. You want to pay $100, $200, but even better, you want to pay the full amounts, okay? Because this can demonstrate that you don't take on more debt than you can afford. You need to have the account open for at least 6 months. So the longer you have your Citi credit card open, the more time you've had to demonstrate your financial responsibility and credit worthiness. Okay, it's great. It's a great idea to wait at least 6 months before requesting more credit again if you have already done it. So asking for a higher credit limit too often may signal to Citi or other issuers that you are under financial stress, and that's not the goal here. Okay. Before you request a credit limit increase, make sure that you actually do some planning personally. You want to determine how much of an increase you're going to ask for, okay? You also want to think about why you are requesting more credit. I'll talk about that later on, but it's important to know the reason why. You need to motivate your request, okay? Are you looking to finance a big purchase? Has your income changed dramatically? Okay, it's because if you want to spend more, this could be because you have gotten a raise at work or you have changed your job. So those are things you need to think about, okay? You also need to consider checking your credit, the current limit that you currently have, before asking for a limit increase, okay? Because Citi is likely to take a look at your credit report before making a decision. So it's best to know what the issuer will see. Step number 2. You want to educate yourself. So first, you need to determine whether you are eligible for a limit increase. Number 2, you want to educate yourself. Now, when we talk about credit limit increase with Citi cards or other cards for that matter, there are pros and cons, okay? If you're not sure it's a good time, if it's a good time to request more credit, here are some pros and cons you want to consider, okay? What are the pros? So if you keep your spending low, a higher credit line can lower your credit utilization ratio. Your credit, the CUR, okay? And the credit utilization is important because this will the lower the CUR, the higher your credit score, because those things work inversely. And you'll have more spending power to fund large purchases and pay them off over time, right? This is a great criterion in favor of a higher credit limit. You'll also be able to earn more rewards if you spend more on the card. So this is something you need to think about here when we talk about either balance transfers or we're talking about travel rewards card. Those are possibilities. What are the cons? If you ask for a higher credit limit than your original request is granted, this could trigger a hard pull. And Citi does this on a case-by-case basis. For some people, they don't do a hard pull. They just approve them automatically, or they just approve them without looking at the report because they have all the transactional history. The borrower banks with Citi, so they probably have direct deposit. They probably have an investment account. They have a savings account. So they have the whole 9 yards. So Citi is comfortable about the applicant's financial situation. Okay, now a higher credit limit might lead to overspending if you're not mindful about it, right? We're talking about financial responsibility on this show. And if you have, let's say, if you have $5,000 on your card versus $10,000, and you're not financially responsible, you might be thinking of spending more once you have once you have the 10,000 card limit. Okay, big decision time. Big decision time. I want you to talk to me right now. Have you thought about how to go? Have you thought about your credit limit increase? Do you know the amount that you want with Citi? How long have you been banking with Citi? Talk to me about that, because those are important criteria. When was the last time you were actually you received that credit limit increase from Citi, and how much did you get? Those are things you need to think about. Step number 3, I want you to contact Citi. Okay, so you want to contact Citi by phone, or you want to log into your online account. So probably the easiest way to request a higher credit line with Citi is to do it online. So you want to start by logging into your online account, and you want to follow this steps. So as a cardholder, you can call Citi's customer service too, though. Okay, you can call. Actually, they have their customer service. You can call them at 1-888-248-4226, 1-888-248-4226. Or you can just call the number on the back of your card. So if you decide to log into your online account, here's how you do it. So you log into your Citi account, click on Services, and select Card Services. And under the Card Management menu, you want to click Request a Credit Limit Increase. If you have multiple accounts with Citi, you want to choose the one for which you would like to have a higher limit. Okay, and enter the required information and click Continue. So after this, normally you'll be prompted to confirm the information you have entered, and if everything looks correct, you want to submit the request by clicking Continue. Just keep in mind that you can then choose either a temporary credit limit increase or a permanent credit limit increase even before you click Continue. Okay, so you'll need to provide your card number, the desired credit limits, the effective date, and the reason for the increase. So when you're done, you want to click Next to finish applying. Okay, one thing I want to say here is that temporary increases to credit limits on Citi cards last up to 60 days from the date of approval, and in some cases they may last up to 90 days. It depends on your they do this on a case-by-case basis. And if you don't already have an account online with Citi, you can click on the gray register button to sign up. And for your Citi card login, you need your credit card number, security code, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. So this is how you do things online. And you can also call customer service. Okay, you can call the number I gave you earlier, or the number on the back of your card, to ask for a bigger credit line. So while it may seem less convenient than simply requesting online, talking to a Citi representative gives you an opportunity to argue your case, right? It's all about having a chance to speak to a live person. So you want to prepare all the required information and know what you're going to say. This is important. Let's say when you're speaking to the rep, please mention why a higher credit limits will make sense in your situation. This is what I said earlier. You need to argue your case. Maybe your incomes has increased, or you are planning on transferring a balance, right? If you've been with Citi for a while and have paid your bills responsibly, you want to bring that up to show that you are a reliable borrower. Okay, Citi normally doesn't do a hard pull unless you ask for a bigger increase than what you've been initially granted. Okay, and if this happens, the inquiry can slightly decrease your credit score. I want you to stay focused. Very important. This is step number 4. Stay focused. You want to plead your case, but please do not sound desperate. So if you call a Citi trying to have an emergency, if you just call Citi and say that this is an emergency request, I need the limit, and please bump me up by 2,000, 3,000, 10,000. If you are crying that you have an emergency and think that your soft story will make them empathize with your situation and increase your credit limits, you want to think again. Citi is making a business decision. They are making a risk decision. Okay, when they give you more money, when they give you higher limits, they're making a credit decision. So they're not thinking about emotions or whatever. You have stuff going on in your family, or you need extra cash. No, they're making a decision. Okay, so don't tell Citi that you need the money for family reasons, whatever. No, you want to explain why a higher limit will be good for you, but you want to give objective reasons. You're making more money. you got a raise at work, you change your job. Those are things, or you need to make a large purchase and you like to transfer balances. Those are objective, rational decisions, okay? And you need to tell Citi why you deserve it. So, as I said earlier, there are a lot of things you can say. Don't go for the soft story here. Don't try to make them feel sorry for you. It's not about that. You can talk about being a loyal customer for 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, and you have never missed a payment. See, financial responsibility is a major argument in your favor. Okay, don't ask for an increase if you have been a customer. Let's say you have been a customer for less than 6 months. That's not a long time. Okay, and if you pay your balance in full each month, this could be a great reason why they might bump you up. If you always pay more than the minimum balance, this also could be a good reason. If you are utilizing 30% or less of your current limits, I spoke earlier about credit utilization ratio being an important element here. Okay, you can also mention the fact that your payments are always on time. Your income has recently increased. You started a side gig. So those are things that you want to mention, okay? And please remember, always be kind and civil to the person on the other end of the phone. Okay? They're doing their job. They're just doing their job. So don't take your financial situation or your financial frustration or your financial anger out on them. Not only will being rude be unlikely to help your case, but yelling or cursing at a rep can give them the right to hang up on you guilt-free. So we don't want that. We're trying to be civil here. We're trying to be polite. We're trying to be courteous. We're trying to be professional. Next, you want to be strategic. Very important. You want to be strategic. In other words, when you are requesting a limit increase, do not be greedy. What I'm trying to say here is that if you're asking for too much of an increase, this can be seen as yet another red flag, which may cause you to be denied, and you'll have to wait a few more months to reapply. So when you contact Citi, you want to be very strategic. You can request an increase of 10 to 25%. Okay? Don't ask the rep how much you should request either. No. Credit card companies prohibit their employees from providing this advice to you. The rep is just doing his or her job. He or she's not there to provide financial advice to you, okay? And when it comes to credit limit increase, you don't have a set in stone standard that says 10%, 25%, 30% is a good percentage to aim for. But if you have, let's say you have a 1,000 limit, you want to expect to see, let's say you can ask for a limit increase of 250. So based on our analysis, based on our research, 25% is a decent percentage to aim for. If you have 10 grand right now, it's good to ask for an increase of 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, depending on your credit history and your ability to repay. Okay, if you have gotten a new job, if you're making more money, if your situation has changed dramatically from 6 months ago or 1 year ago, you can ask for a higher limit. So it's always a matter of striking a balance between your financial situation and the kind of limits you're asking for. Okay, very important. And you can also entice the Citi rep with a balance transfer. This is if you actually do the transfer online, or if you ask for a limit increase online, or you do it at a Citi branch, you can actually entice them with a balance transfer. Citibank and other issuers, other credit card issuers for that matter, they love balance transfer. They do love a good balance transfer. Why? Because of the fees, right? They have a balance transfer fee, so for them it's a great amount. And the thing here is that there's another incentive. If you don't pay the amount in full by the time the no interest period is over, the new issuer gets to make money from the new issuer, in this case Citibank, gets to make the money from the interest they're not charging you that would have gone to your previous issuer. So Citibank loves those balance transfer offers from applicants. Okay, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Story Kiwi Show. We're also having a conversation here about Citi credit card limit increases and how do you do it. And I want to talk to you about planning ahead is very important. Now, one thing you need to understand is that there are automatic credit limit increases at Citi. So it's possible that Citi will increase your credit line automatically. So the bank regularly reviews accounts, and if you have demonstrated responsible use of the card, you may score a bigger credit line without having to contact the issuer. And periodic account reviews usually start after the account has been open for at least 6 months. Okay, you want to wait for 6 months, and so this is really good. So if your card is in good standing, you will receive limit hikes periodically. Okay, now if you're not happy with the limit hike that you got, then you can ask for more. Okay, and it's also important to understand that even if you don't get the limit that you want, please always keep making payments on time and always make more than the minimum due. This is very important. Be patient. Okay, good things always come to those who wait. It's very important. And you can also apply for a new Citibank credit card. It could be that the Citi card that you currently have has a low credit limit because of your credit history. But this doesn't mean that you have to wait for, or maybe the card itself has a lower credit limit ceiling. Okay, so if you've been a responsible and long-standing Citi cardholder, you can qualify for another card with a higher credit limit. So for example, you can try the Citi Double Cash card, and this is a card that allows you to earn 2% on every purchase with unlimited 1% cash back when you buy, plus an additional 1% as you pay for those purchases. It's a great card because the APR is also decent. You have 13.99% to 23.99% based on your creditworthiness, and you even have a 0% intro APR on balance transfers for 18 months. That's a great card. Another card you might apply for is the Citi Custom Cash Card. This is the card that allows you to actually earn $200 in cash back after you spend $750 on purchases in the first 3 months of account opening, and this is good. And the APR is the same, has the same range, 13.99% to 23.99%. Okay, and you can also earn 5% cash back on purchases in your top eligible spend category each billing cycle up to the first $500 spent, 1% cash back thereafter. Okay, also you can earn unlimited 1% cash back on all other purchases. And then you can even apply for the Citi Premier card. Here is a card that allows you to earn 60,000 bonus thank you points after you spend $4,000 in purchases within the first 3 months of account opening. Okay, it's a great card, and the card actually has a regular APR that goes from 15.99% to 23.99%. The card comes with a $95 annual fee and is great for people who have good or excellent credit. And last but not the least, and this is important to mention also, never panic. Okay, so there are things you can do if your request is denied. I mean, God forbid, if your request is denied, don't panic, don't shout, don't actually yell at the rep over the phone, or on the phone rather. Don't try to, no, do not be rude to the customer service rep. You want to keep your composure. This is important for them. For Citi, this is just a business decision. It is a credit decision. Okay, even though it's easy to request a credit limit increase with Citi, there is no guarantee your request will ever be approved. Okay, and just make sure that you ask the customer service representative why the request has been denied and what you can do to improve your chances in the future. That's more rational. That's more professional. That's more polite. Okay, here are a few things you can do to help you score a higher credit line next time. You need to work on building your credit. This is important. Remember that your credit history is always the fulcrum upon which issuers such as Citi base their lending decision, base their credit card, their underwriting decision. Okay, this is the main indicator of your credit worthiness. Very important. You want to pay down credit card debt on your account with Citi and any other issuers. This will help you lower your credit utilization ratio, and the lower your CUR, the better when it comes to having a credit line increase next time you ask for it. Make sure to use the card regularly. So Citi might not find it reasonable to up the credit limit on a card you don't use frequently. This is why it's important to charge whatever you have to charge on the card. That way you can use the card regularly and actually just pay it off, okay, and pay more than the full balance. And I mean, ideally, you want to pay the full balance, but if you can't not do that, you want to pay more than the minimum due, not the full balance. You want to pay more than the minimum due, okay? And you want to keep your income information current. So it's important because Citi might see that positive changes in your financial situation. For example, you make more money or you're saving more money. They might see this as a good sign when it comes to reviewing your credit limit increase next time. Okay, and you may want to consider actually applying for another card with the same bank or apply for other card altogether. Okay, and you also want to ask for more credit during a different time of the year. So according to research, credit limit increases are more common between January and May. If you apply during the holiday season, you might not get it. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. I was just talking to you about Citi credit card limit increases, how to get it step by step. Number one, be eligible. Number two, educate yourself. Number three, you want to contact Citi. Number four, you want to stay focused. Number five, you want to be strategic. Number six, you want to plan ahead. And number seven, you want to make sure that you never panic. Thank you so much for your attention. I will speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.